Anthony Ferraro and Mancina, two blind guys, collide to bring you Four Bad Eyes Podcast.
We're back. How's it going?
Four Bad Eyes.
Four Bad Eyes, two rad guys. How's everyone doing? Dan's already knocking over a water. Unopened. Today we have a very special guest, good friend of the podcast. We have professional skateboarder, athlete, MMA fighter, podcaster. It's pretty much easier to say the things he doesn't do. We have Jason Ellis, everyone, the Wolf Mate.
Woo!
Woo!
Thanks, guys. This is a really cool studio you guys got.
Thanks.
We've been working on it for a couple months.
We borrowed it.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's probably my favorite studio I've ever done a show in.
It fits your personality pretty well.
You think?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice.
I really like the feng shui.
Hey, excuse me.
Dogs are going.
Shut up! I'm doing a podcast.
Don't they get
How
it?
many dogs are back there? It sounds like a whole
5.
kennel. 5?
Five. It sounds like a
Really?
whole kennel. They're all chihuahuas?
Nah, 2 chihuahuas. No, 3 chihuahuas, 1 Boston Terrier, and 1 Pomeranian.
Those are a lot of little dogs
Those
for
are
a
all
big
small,
guy.
right? Little dudes.
Yeah. The Pomeranian is the one that you're hearing. She has a really annoying, painful bark. And it's unfortunate because she's a really nice person. But when she yells, it's super annoying.
Big dog syndrome.
I hate a person with a bad voice. You know, it can really turn me off.
It's got to be tough, though,
to
right?
whether I like that person. Yeah, it dictates a lot.
It's like, what can they do about it?
I don't
It's
judge
like they're
people
stuck
how they
with it.
look. I judge them what they sound like.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Oh, you
so
sound
it'd be even
weird.
more,
Yeah. It's a weird dog.
But I love your accent, man.
Oh, man.
It's great.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's good.
Could have been worse for sure.
How old were you when you first came to America?
17.
17.
Yep.
And you said it was hard for people to understand you at first, right?
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time people said what? A lot of people just nodded and didn't even say that they couldn't understand me. So it took me a while to realize that most people they didn't hear anything I was saying.
Yeah.
I thought I was telling a story, but people just go,
That's like when people show me pictures on a phone. I used to be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And have no idea what they were showing me.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar. But
That's a weird thing to do to you.
where did you
We've all
first... I always wanted to ask you, what was your first experience skateboarding? Like, how did you get into that? Where did it all start?
The very first time I skateboarded, my mum had, she didn't really have parents, so there were these two, my mum had a friend and her parents were kind of like my mum's parents. It was, what was it? They were like kind of uncle and auntie to me, and they were always help my mum out, and they had 3 kids, and the youngest kid was into skateboarding, and it was back when they had the sidewalk surfing skateboards, like the little skinny ones.
Mm-hmm. The real narrow ones.
Yeah,
Like plastic, just the tail?
Yeah,
thing?
and he had 2 in a shed. And every time I'd go over to their house, I'd fucking pull these 2 skateboards out of the shed, and there was like a little concrete pathway, and I would try and skate from the top to the bottom of it. And that was, I'd be out there all day doing it, but it was... Nobody knew what it was. I didn't really know what it was. And then when I left, I never had a skateboard again until probably 13. That's when I got my first...
When you left, like you moved away or something?
I didn't... No, I think I went to school and there was 2 twin brothers and they skateboarded. And that's what gave me the idea. And then I built a skateboard in wood shop and nailed roller skate wheels to it and tried to do 360s out the front of my mum's house for like 2 hours.
Did you put grip on there or no?
Fuck no.
No
And
grip.
it was just the shape of an ironing board. Like I just cut the
yeah.
nose
Super
so
flat.
it went that way.
Just a sheet of plywood, pretty much?
It was chipboard.
Yeah.
It was a piece of chipboard. It was like this. It was like a couple inches.
That is
maybe an inch and a half
sick.
thick. Like it was a
Yeah.
big fat thing that I nailed roller skates to.
I don't think I've ever made a skateboard.
But then very soon I was lucky enough to get a Veriflex Headhunter is what it was called. And it was a big fat board with those softer wheels, big, like really wide trucks. And that was my skateboard for about a year or 2.
When you stood on that, were you like, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like?
Yeah, or if I went to a bowl, the first thing I ever skated was a big keyhole bowl, and it was so sketchy and dangerous that I just rolled into it on my ass.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even stand up in the fucking thing. It was so dangerous. And then they built a half pipe near my parents' house, and that's when these kids took me to it, and that was it.
What year is this? 80s?
Yeah, for sure.
This is like early 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah, I'm 50, so I was 15.
Okay.
So 45.
How big was the half pipe?
What? How big was the half pipe?
Yeah.
It was 6 foot high, 6 foot transitions with like 2 inches of vert, maybe 6 inches of vert, and it was probably, I think it was 12 foot wide, so it was really little.
So you were raised with, so your first kind of introduction to parks, it was like actual ramps and transition, not
A vert ramp, yeah. Well, the keyhole bowl that I never really skated. Once they built that vert ramp, we just skated the vert ramp, and then maybe 4 or 5 years later, they built another vert ramp, a metal one, and that had a roll-in the middle of it, and it was like 30 feet wide. And it still had like little transitions, but it was a vert ramp. It was like a proper vert ramp. So we had a weird, because skate parks in Australia, they're not, nobody charged. There's no roof.
Right.
It's somebody just built a ramp and walked away. It's just in a park.
Yeah, almost like DIY parks nowadays, where people just build
Kinda,
it,
yeah.
and
But
they
the
just
council
leave.
would sign off. It would just take one kid to go there and be like, I want a skate park. And then they'd get one skateboard, not a pro, but like somebody that knew how to build that ramp. It was one guy, and he built both of them.
In Australia?
Yeah. And then, I guess other cities had the same deal, but
How tall
it
was
seemed
that
like
ramp?
it was a vert world for a while. What?
How tall was that ramp with the rolling?
I think that was 8 foot transition, so probably like a 9 foot high ramp.
Okay. I hate this. I'm always curious about this question. As a vert skater, it drives me nuts when someone calls a mini ramp a half pipe. Does that drive you? Is that a
He
thing?
just did
I'm
it,
like, That's
though.
a mini ramp.
No, I didn't. Did I?
A 6-footer.
But
he
it
told
had
me
vert on
It's a
it, though.
6 foot. This ramp had vert on it.
Had vert on
Okay.
it.
It's a vert ramp.
But is that a thing? Like, okay, a mini ramp is a mini ramp, and a
Yeah,
half
a
pipe
mini ramp
is
is
a
a mini ramp,
fucking
yeah.
half pipe.
But you
Okay.
can say half pipe because it is a half pipe.
Like
Right?
8 foot,
I mean, it's
foot
half a
mini
pipe,
ramp is
right?
a half pipe. To
I guess
me.
it's not
It
because
doesn't
it
have
doesn't go to
vert,
vert.
so it's
You're
not.
right.
It's
okay.
like, yeah.
But it's never bothered me,
Okay.
to answer your question.
I was wondering about that.
He always
I meant
corrects
to
me.
ask Tony that too back when we were on the Hawk.
Yeah,
Festival,
no.
but
Just if you want to call it that, good for you.
yeah, half pipe. It's like, it's not a half pipe.
Yeah, but you just made me realize it's not.
Yeah. It's not, dude. All right, first blind question. Have you ever had sex with a blind person?
No.
No?
No.
No, I would.
I haven't met one.
Yeah. It just doesn't.
Never happened, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I'm
Haven't.
hoping this.
Dan's wanted to know that.
I was hoping you were going to say yes, man.
Yeah. Like I said, I would have. Just
Everything else in
nobody
between,
who was
but-
blind ever hit on me, or trying to think if I ever even met a lady who was blind that I would.
Yeah. Not a lot of blind people
No.
cruising around the
No.
world and hanging out at bars and looking
Yeah.
for dudes and girls or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're usually swiping on Tinder. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah, but they didn't have that. Man, I'm going to sound old, but they didn't have that.
No, they didn't have that either.
There was
even when I
nothing.
was like little.
I never got to experience the Tinder world, man.
Yeah.
I was wifeyed up by the time
It's overrated.
all that happened. I would have enjoyed it, I think.
It's a bit stupid. But I guess if I was young and single, definitely makes it a lot easier to meet people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Being blind, I was like, I could never meet up with anyone from that app. I never know what I was getting into.
Right.
Well, other blind buddy, his friends would swipe for him, and that's how he met his wife.
On Bumble.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
wouldn't
friend
trust
right
my
there.
friends, though, dude. They'd be swiping on all kinds of shit.
So you were 15, though, and you were skating, like, vert all the time, basically, at this point.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later is when you went to the States, right? So
Yeah.
what happened in that 2 years before you go to the States?
Um.
Just skating all the time?
Yeah.
Like, are you obsessed with it at this point?
Oh yeah.
Going to high school?
I left school pretty early. I think the day I turned 16 when it was legal to leave school, and I started working. Cause
What was your first job?
trolley boy at a supermarket.
Trolley boy, like pushing carts, bringing carts in? Yeah.
Oh, man.
Trolley.
Charlie boy.
This old lady once tried to have sex with me when I put her stuff in the back of her Mercedes.
No!
She asked me
Really?
if I wanted to come home with her.
When you were 16?
Yeah.
Did you say yeah?
No, I didn't. I was scared.
I never had any shit like that.
Yeah, no.
Dude. I would have loved it.
You wouldn't have been a very good trolley boy.
No, he would have at 16. He could see
Okay.
that. I would have been a terrible Charlie boy.
Okay.
I never had it like that. Because you were a striking, you still are a striking man, though. But you always talk about hair and long hair. You got light eyes and stuff, too?
You have long hair. You have really long.
But I don't know about now.
You have really long curly hair, right?
Straight hair.
Oh, straight hair. Okay. It's really long though.
I did, yeah, when I had hair.
No, right now.
No, what?
Just kidding.
God damn it.
I always
Got
get
nothing.
him. Oh man.
What was I just gonna ask? Wait, so you kind of started seriously skating at 15,
Yeah, I serious. Yeah.
or like figuring out what skateboarding was and then like going full into it?
I mean, I didn't really have a plan until later, you know. I just
But
skateboarded all day, every day, and thought about it all day, every day.
Yeah.
Why
That
did you
was,
go
like,
to
at
America?
15 though, so it only took you 2 years to go to the States and like
Yeah.
skate.
Well,
With
it didn't.
the-
I wasn't good for the first 4 years, and then something clicked when I was 17. It clicked on a day. One day I learned I could do frontside ollies like about 6 inches out, and then my friend was like, "You just look like you could do those as high as you wanted. Why don't you just pose one like high?" And I posed it, and it was still on my feet. And he was like, "Dude, I swear you could make that." And I just did it. I made it. And at the time, it was probably the highest frontside ollie anyone had ever done in Australia.
Oh man.
And then I just started, because I could ollie that high, I ollied into a frontside air. So now my frontside air completely changed in 5 minutes. And then I was like, wait a minute. And right there, a sailfish was a new trick. Like only a few people in America could do it. And I did a sailfish like third try. And then I did tail grabs, and I did Benny Hannas, and then I started ollieing backside because I figured it out, and I just started doing all my airs like 4 foot higher because I could ollie into them now.
Oh, you started to actually ollie into them as opposed to
I would
just,
grab
like,
it late
float.
instead of grabbing
Like a
it
lake
when you
instead
snap
of
off.
instead of an early grab.
Yeah, it wasn't an early grab, but it was because I could do this ollie for like 3 feet before I needed to grab it. I could get away with a bunch of shit, and then because I started making that, I just got giddy on putting things down. So anybody just said a trick, I would just put it down, and then I learned like 25 tricks in like one day.
That was all that one day? The stalefish, Benihana, tail grab,
all of it. Yeah.
It's crazy when all those like
was in 2
hours.
hours.
Is that the greatest day of your
It
life?
was,
right there?
yeah.
Holy shit.
You're like, what's going on right
Yeah,
now?
that's what I was thinking.
That's like a dream, dude.
A little bit.
25, yeah. And it's crazy, like you said, it's like you were skating nonstop for these like 4 years, and then one day you like turn around and it all clicks, and you're like, I guess those hours were doing something.
Yeah.
When
but I didn't realize it, but yeah.
there were times where you don't think so, right?
I thought for sure I was just an untalented guy that loved skateboarding. The end.
Well, at first you might have been, and you
Yeah.
just obsessed over it and got good at it.
That's why I know that you don't have to be talented. You just have to be possessed.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. What do you remember like the first time flying in the air and like landing that?
First air I ever did was an indie air because I couldn't do backside airs because when I think it was right when I turned 16, I slammed in a concrete mini ramp. I was going face first into the face wall, and I put my arm out, and I broke my wrist and my arm and shot my elbow out of the back of my arm, compound fracture.
No.
God.
Yeah. So my left arm didn't work for
That was the first
8
time
months.
you went.
Straighten. What's that?
First time you went in the air?
No, I'm telling the story of because usually if you do an air on vert, the first air you learn is a backside air, but I couldn't do backside airs because I couldn't straighten my arm for like 8 months.
Oh,
Like even
okay,
when
okay.
it healed, it wouldn't fucking straighten. It would just like go to about there, so I could never reach my board. So I started using my backhand to grab indie airs, and that place had a roll in, so I'd go down the roll in as fast as I could and grab early and jump, and do a fucking indie air like 6 inches out. And then I did those for, like 6 months, and then my arm straightened. And then when my arm straightened, I did a back sit there, and I was like, this is fucking way easier.
Oh, shit.
And then I feel like that helped a lot because I did the harder one first.
Right.
And then back sit airs, like within a couple of weeks, it felt like I was doing like 3 or 4 foot back sit airs. I just wanted to be Christian Asoi back then. I had a Asoi board.
Yeah.
And I would do like 2 back sit airs, and then I'd pose a method air. Never not make it, just pose it.
Yeah, so 17, as you said, when it clicked.
That
one
something
day
like that.
when you right around.
And that's when you moved, right? After
That's when I
that?
flew to America.
Were
for
you
6
like,
months.
now I'm going to America?
Yep.
To skateboard?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just on a whim? Like, did you have any connections there? Like, reason to
I
go?
went with a friend who had connections. So when I went, within a couple of days, we were staying at Lance Mountain's house.
Yeah.
So I skated Lance's ramp every day for like 3 months. I learned 3 tricks a day. I just wouldn't leave until I made a third trick.
3 tricks, yeah.
Yeah, that was my thing.
I gotta step it up. I only do 1 trick a day.
After about 6 months, when I got back to America, I was a fucking monster in Australia. Like in Australia, I was the best I was the best street skater in Australia. At one point. So stupid.
Was Vert dead at this time? What year is this? Lance's.
Wait, your mic's a bit loud, Anthony. Pull away. Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries.
What did I just ask? When you went to Lance's, was Vert like dead at this point, or is it still?
Nah, Vert was still. Okay, maybe. Nah. It was still. There was still all the Vert dudes were still making
like
a bunch of money.
Okay.
And they were all acting like rock stars. It wasn't a lot of them. That's the difference.
Right.
There was like 10 pros back then.
Yeah.
So all 10 Vert pros were fucking Axl Rosen around, wearing stupid,
in
no
limos,
shirt and leather jackets everywhere, and cab with these suspenders and shit.
Oh, so you did get some of the
I was in
soy
the mix
era
for
too.
the first, But I was amateur, so it was like I was in the mix to watch those dudes, and then when I was good enough to beat them, it was already apparent that they weren't trying to give pro models to the new Vert dudes because we weren't going to sell boards. Street dudes, Jason Lee and all those people started to show up right when I was, top 5 in the world. Yeah. It was just like, you're ripping, dude, but we can't give you a board.
Damn.
That's insane.
Was that crushing? Were you kind of bummed? Like,
yeah, it was definitely a bummer. Felt like I finally became like one of the best in the world at something that no one gives a shit about, and now I have to. I could have got away with not having a job for the rest of my life. Yeah. But instead it was pretty apparent that I was going to make the most of the traveling before I had to go home and get a real job.
Home to Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. So
you did get to live. You got to live at least some of that travel the world skating.
Yeah. Shit. Well, I was wrong. I ended up being pro for 20 years and flying around the world the whole time. Yeah. Just didn't make millions of dollars, but I made enough to live
comfortably.
I just didn't care. I just wanted to skate. I lived in a house with skaters, and
you just wanted to not have to
restaurant
work.
I wanted. I didn't want to like buy Cristal. Like I just wanted to skate. Yeah. And I had enough money to do that, and everybody paid for my food and airfare to go to contests. So it was the best time ever.
Easy life.
Did you like contests?
Yeah,
because it's a whole different world. Like skating. For skating and then the contest scene. And it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I like that. Pressure.
You like that pressure?
Fuck yeah.
You like the pressure.
You like having to stick that trick on the first try.
Fuck yeah.
It's fearlessness, too, right?
That was one of the things I could tell that I had that they didn't, People had more talent than me, but when they called my name, I wasn't playing.
You talked about, I've heard you talk about getting into, almost a rage mode to land your trick. You have to get mad. Is that true?
Yeah, well, it depends on the trick, but if it's a scary trick, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to get mad to get past the fear.
So you kind of use anger against the fear.
Yeah. Stupid.
That's a crazy...
Well, I use that, anger and, fatigue. I get so mentally and physically fatigued at a certain point where I'm like, I don't care if I fall on this one. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about fatigue, but...
anger helps with...
Yeah, I just, sometimes it's like a trick where you're like, I think I'm going to do it, but if I don't do it, I'm going to get knocked out and go to hospital. and you keep bailing it, and you know the answer is stand on it, you fucking pussy, you know, and then that rings louder every time you bail it, and then there just gets a time where I'm like, you know what? I fucking hope I slam, bitch. Yeah. You know, like fucking come at me, and then that guy usually makes it.
So you're fighting with yourself, like you're having dialogues
constantly.
Me too. I know that feeling. Do you do that with fighting too, like when you're training?
Yeah, not as much because I don't have as great expectations in fighting.
The pressure's kind of off.
Just don't have that. I mean, you know, I haven't had that many fights. It's not really my job. The whole time I've ever been doing it, I was too old to be in it in the first place, so nobody expected much from me. And you shined though. You crushed it. I did all right. For what my level is, I did all right. But that's what I figured I would do, you know? I'm not the greatest athlete that ever walked the planet, but I got a lot of heart, you know? And fighting a lot of that, that's a big deal, you know? If you get in trouble and you got a lot of heart, you'll probably get out of it, you know? Mm-hmm.
This is you fight UFC, like?
I didn't make it to the UFC.
A style?
No, UFC's...
Like boxing, or you're like...
Oh, I did both. I did boxing and MMA.
MMA, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. I sound like an idiot.
How did you get into that, actually?
When I moved to do radio, I moved away from San Diego, so I couldn't skateboard anymore. So I found a gym to try and, you know, I got to do something physical. So you left the skate world at that point? Or yeah. Would you call it that? Like, did you leave the skate world? Yeah. You stopped skating completely? Pretty much.
The first time I saw you was the Reds video.
The what video?
Reds.
Red Dragons?
Red Dragon, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it called Reds?
No. It's called Red Dragon.
It's called Red Dragon. And is that the video where the dude skates to Backstreet Boys or something?
Yeah, Slugger.
That is it. All right. Yeah. That's the first video I saw.
Of course that wasn't his call.
That's right. Yeah, I remember they had like a whole intro with it, like the phone call and everything. You're gonna skate to this and all that. But that was the first time I saw Ellis. That was when I could see.
Why did you walk away from skating?
Yeah, how far after that video?
That wasn't far off. Yeah, the RDS video was probably the last video part. And then, you know, I was living in Oceanside doing Tony's radio show on Siris XM, going in a couple of contests every now and then, placing worse than usual. But then they had Mega Ramp, and nobody would jump Mega Ramp, and because I was friends with Danny, I was like the second person to jump that shit. So
you're the second one to do it in a jersey.
In a basketball
jersey. First one to do it in a jersey, but
no elbow pad. Fucking stupid ass. I melted the shit out of myself that day. Oh,
it's insane. I love that story.
The first time I made it over the gap, when I went up the quarter pipe, I leaned back and looked up at it as I was going up it, and it made me loop out. And I went up I slapped my back on the flat, on the vert wall, and took off as a skateboard. The back of my head bounced off the coping, like, bong! And then I was just upside down, looking back down the vert ramp, just wiggling like a fuckhead. And I was like, what the fuck?
Did you land back on your back, going back?
Yeah.
And you got back up and did it.
Yeah, I was there every day.
Was that the first? That was the first time you
had to do it, man.
That was the first time you hit the quarter pipe after the.
Yeah, first time I hit the quarter pipe, I hit it with my head. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I was like, right, don't lean back.
Is that your thought process?
You did a chink chink with your helmet and your
kinda.
Like you just have to do it? That's your thought process?
I mean, if it's worth it. Mega Ramp is 50 mile an hour. You can do like a 16-foot backstay there first time.
Oh, my God.
I was built to do that. You know, in my whole life, I've wanted to go over 10 foot. And now there's a ramp where you're for sure going over 10 foot if you do that. And that's my whole life. I did a 20-foot backstay there in Mexico City. It's still the greatest thing I ever did on a skateboard. Yeah. And you wouldn't do it if it wasn't a mega ramp, you know? They wouldn't. It feels like you're flying.
Like weightless? Just
for a long time.
A long time. Like, oh, man.
At first, you don't get to enjoy it because you're just terrified. But then when you do it enough for a couple of hours, then you get used to it, get acclimated, and then you just do 20-foot method airs, float.
Damn. So you transitioned kind of. You said you were already doing the XM radio, or you were just
a co-host on Tony's show.
Co-host on Tony's show. So then skateboarding.
Then you
fading away.
Then you
fade away. I moved to LA, and I moved to LA. There's no vert ramp.
No vert ramp.
I just knew. I knew how to get good at something too, and I had talent in radio, not like skateboarding. And I was like, if you put the focus in that you did in skateboarding into radio, you could be the next Howard Stern.
So were you looking for a transition out of skating at that point?
No, I figured that I'd be packing boxes at DC after I retired.
Yeah. You start seeing older dudes.
Did not have a lot of big dreams for the future. I figured that my heyday was in skateboarding.
Damn, and then you saw some light in radio. And I'm just gonna put everything in this.
Well, because you realize like this isn't forever, the skateboarding. So it's like, what am I gonna do to keep going? Right.
Yeah, it was a good thing because I had to do it earlier than I would have, and I feel like most of us, people that are from my era, that have gone through the transition of becoming a human being after being a professional skateboarder for 20 years, it's usually pretty rocky for us. But my girlfriend got pregnant. I lost my house because my agent didn't pay taxes for 5 years, and they were my business manager as well, and I didn't know. So I went into crazy tax debt, lost my house, got a kid. You know, this chick I barely even know is like, I'm gonna have the kid. I'm like, okay, I'll be a dad. Now I'm a dad, and my life is not as important as my kid, and everything's fallen. Everything's burning down to the ground. And it was like a big slap in the face. You're now nobody, you know. You just work at Siris. You're just some fucking shithead.
Starting from the bottom.
Yeah.
In a whole new industry.
Well,
I just knew
there.
Like the same thought process I have now about podcasting. You're not gonna fucking stop me. Yeah. You know, no one's gonna stop me. And I have no plans on stopping. So that means fucking here comes gravy train because. I'm the wrong guy to fuck with. I'm possessed. If I need to get something done, I get it done. I always get it done.
Do you obsess over it?
Yeah, that's why I get it done.
Exactly.
I don't need ability. I just care so much about it that it gets done at all costs. That's it. It's everything or nothing.
I resonate with that.
Dude,
so
that's intense.
When you've done it 3 times, I've been here a couple times now where it's like, oh yeah, you're nothing again. I'm like, okay. It's almost it's a gift because I don't care about the little things that stress me out in my life anymore. I got to get going. I got to get, I got kids. I got a wife. I got, bills. People depend on me.
Yeah.
To just like give up, it's disrespectful to them, So I just bolt it down and be like, okay, what is the goal here? What do we need to do to be happy? Because that's the other thing. It used to be, what do I need to do to be rich and famous and successful? That was pretty much a goal for about 20 years there. And now it's like, I just want to be happy, Like, obviously, I don't want to be broke because I know that doesn't help. But I don't need to be the biggest thing in the world because I know that being the biggest thing in the world is, so much more work and so much more bullshit and so much more of these fake people trying to take a piece to sell it. And I don't have, I have just enough. If somebody's like, I got this big deal and you just need to do this, I'm like, I don't need to fucking do nothing, man. If you're full of shit, I don't want to do business with you.
And it's nice that you've always done, jobs or whatever you want to call it, that like you're in control.
More than ever now.
Now you've
I guess XM probably not so much.
Siris, they controlled a lot, but after that it was almost like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the biggest blessing when you left Siris because it sucks in the beginning when you're like, fuck, I know what this is like. Everything's starting from the ground up again, and I know what it takes, and we have to get there. But you're building it all in your control now with your people and like your crew and people you trust and love.
Yeah.
And it's so much better that way.
Yeah, it's a happier existence for sure.
But
it was already pretty good, because a lot of people work for money that isn't that good with bosses that suck and annoy the shit out of them. I didn't, some people annoyed me, but I still made a good living. It wasn't a hard job.
Right.
So it's hard to,
and the things
that it was so bad back then. It wasn't so bad back then.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just really good now.
Yeah.
I feel like the reason why you shine, or part of the reason why you shine so well at XM is because you spoke your mind and you were just you. You feel like that's why you
had
the success there?
Yep.
Yeah.
I also feel like it was a little bit of my downfall too, though.
Yeah, of course.
I guess what I was, but then at the same time, like, now you can do that more than ever when you have your own podcast.
Be yourself and say whatever you want.
I also have less to prove now. Like, there was if you're trying to stop me do some bit or whatever, then I'm all emotional about it. Like, fucking tell me what to do. I'm in the middle of trying to do something big here. It's my baby. Don't tell me what I can do in my show. And now I'd be like, whatever. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, okay, I'll say it. I don't care as much about keeping it real for people.
When did you feel that switch in, like, your ego of, like...
Just because it got out of control again, Like, I started thinking that my shit didn't stink. And I just started to catch it. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be that guy. I want to be appreciative of where I'm at, because I talk to these regular people every day on the radio, and it's not... I'm living this fucking life of luxury, god damn it. And I'm over here going, man, you won't let me do my... like, shut up, Jason. You get to do fucking everything, dude. It's like sometimes the boss tells you to do stuff, and you're like, fucking don't tell me what to do. I'm like, you're such a king dick idiot. I gotta get everything my way, the way I want it.
So you just had an epiphany of, like, I just need to be more... appreciative of what I have and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep, completely. Apologize to some people for the way I spoke to them.
Yeah.
How was that? That's gotta be scary. Like, facing those people that you, like, said bad things to or whatever in the past, and then going to them in the future and apologizing. That takes a lot.
It felt good, because they deserved it. If they didn't deserve it, then they weren't getting it. I still don't like some people, and they know I don't like them, and I don't care about that. That's fine. They're pieces of shit. They should know it. But the rest of them, if it was out of line, I'll say it, because I don't want to leave this earth knowing that I just, ran somebody over for no reason and didn't apologize. It just doesn't make sense to me. If I forgot, I forgot. But if I recall it, I'll patch it up, because everybody deserves it,
Yeah.
And if I can do it, and it's going to make me uncomfortable for a little bit, whatever. They deserve it. Some of them probably could give two shits, but some people, I've done it, and it did make a difference.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did it. It was totally worth it.
Yeah.
And I made a lot of mistakes, so it's easy for me to apologize, because I feel like for a while there, that's all I was doing.
Where'd you get the will to, or the want to do stand-up? Because you've been crushing it.
Yeah, just because this serious thing just trying to stop me, man. You're trying to block me, the world, or I don't know what. Just feel like you're trying to close in on me. And
did you ever watch, like, stand up as a kid?
Not really.
Not really, but you just saw this as another art form of, like.
I always knew that there was a possibility I could be good at it, and that I could. It could give me satisfaction, because it seemed like a thing that seemed challenging and rewarding, and there'd be goals. To me, it was like, well, you can't get hurt doing it. It doesn't really make sense. But I'm also a lot different now. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm a masochist, but I think at one point I did have a lot of disrespect for myself, and I felt like maybe getting hurt all the time was like some sort of subconscious thing where I was getting involved in things that were dangerous because I was trying to hurt myself.
Yeah.
But I don't have those urges like that anymore. I still want to get sketchy for sure.
Yeah.
I like the heart rate jumping and shit.
But with an assessment.
Yeah, I don't know. It's less to prove.
I
don't know. I just feel more comfortable with myself, so I don't have to be on edge so much. And comedy is still super nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
It's really challenging.
When did you do your first open mic?
I never did an open mic, I don't think.
You never did open mic? Wait,
you
what was your
open
first
for
time on
Sickler, right?
stage?
Yeah. Oh no, I did this little club that was kind of like an open mic, but I don't know, every Tuesday for about a year is when I really worked on it last year.
Oh.
But I did a couple of gigs years ago where radio comedians on my radio show would ask me they're like, you're fucking funny as fuck, do some stand-up. And I was like, oh yeah. And I'd go up and try to say something and it wasn't good, and I'd go, wow, I thought I'd be good at stand-up. Turns out I'm not.
This shit's
and
hard.
I just gave up. I just was like, that's not my calling. And then I did an interview with Craig Ferguson, and he just really wanted me to fucking do comedy. And I was like, why? He's like, just promise me. You know, if you don't do it right now, when you're done with the fighting thing, please continue. And it was like he knew something I didn't know. Mm-hmm. But it just rang because I respected him a lot. So
you hear that a lot. I
just always knew I'd try again.
I've heard that a lot with the like high-level comedians who like just see somebody like, dude, you need to do stand-up. Like they can just see it in somebody. And yeah, that's cool.
So
how's tour been going?
Good. It's fun. It's tiring. You know, late nights and flights and shitty food and stuff like that. I'm a bit old for that kind of lifestyle, but I'm also not broke. You know what I mean? I fly business. I don't get paid I get paid less than my airfare is. But I, you know what I mean? I want the experience, and I don't need to like live in the gutter to have the experience. I got money, so I'm pretty. You know, I mean, it's not that hard. It's a pretty good life. I'm like, I'm gonna be a comedian. People are like, can you go to Louisville, Kentucky? I'm like, yeah,
I'll be there.
Can. And no one else can, so I get spots.
Let's plug that. They can go to your website, all that stuff.
I don't have anything on there for comedy. I don't have a manager. I don't have any of that shit.
So you just show up to clubs that ask you, and they'll.
Oh, I got friends that are comedians that are like, man, you're funny. Like, do you want to go on the road with me? I'm like, yeah.
That's how it started.
So where can people find out where you're going to be at?
On my Instagram.
On your gram. Right.
Yeah, like this Wednesday.
Wolfmate.
Yeah, at Wolfmate. And then, yeah, if I do more tour dates with Brian Callen, it's all, you know, it's hard to, I got kids every second weekend. And then there's the Hawk versus Wolf podcast where Tony wants to do things on different days. So I got to make sure that I don't book a comedy tour when I've got to do, you know what I mean, like a skateboard demo or something. Because now I'm announcing for Tony a lot.
Yeah.
So
and you're
it's all gravy though, you know, like to pick whether I'm going to do a skateboard demo or do some stand up in another state. Like it's fucking cool.
It's sick. You're doing so many different things at once. Are you still doing Ellis Mania?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the middle of organizing that one. It's been such a nightmare to try and get a place booked again because of the pandemic. But
when's it going to be? Oh, you don't know yet.
Trying to do it in August, but I haven't signed anything.
Are me and Dan going to do the blindfolded chalk collar fight?
Maybe. We'll talk about it.
Just kidding.
I'm not fighting Anthony.
Good then.
You won't fight me.
That makes it easy. I don't know about you getting hit in the head.
I want to get hit in the head.
I'll get hit in the head.
I know you don't care, but I do, okay?
When are you going to let me drive your car? That's what the real question right now.
You're in it right now. Off you go.
Really?
Yeah. Just push down. You'll be off. You'll be home.
These guys, can I say what you just... These guys just rented a Ferrari.
For my birthday. It's my birthday's on Thursday.
Who's driving it?
Me.
No, you're not.
You want to come?
No.
Let's go to a track.
I don't want to go anywhere near you in a Ferrari.
Where's a wide open lot? I could take that. Come on, man. It's such good content. Think about it.
Not your fucking...
We got Tully there.
I'm taking him on I-5 and I'm going to hold the road, hold the handle.
Jesus.
But we are getting Ferrari.
Kelly's going to be driving. Anthony's going to try to find a spot where...
And I'm putting since my last name's Ferraro, I'm going to get a magnetic O and put it over the I.
There you go.
And have it say Ferraro.
All right.
Want to race?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I'll race you.
He won't let me drive with him.
Can you drive stick?
If you teach me.
All right, so the answer is no.
Not yet.
But I definitely want to teach you in my fucking car so you can grind my gears.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Are your shifters on the... Are they all
on the mine's proper
wheel?
stick.
It is? Okay.
What's the fastest you've ever gone in the car?
Like 300 kilometers an hour. So what's that?
Over 2?
What car?
250 or some shit. Ferrari.
Oh, so we're doing
Tony
that.
Hawk on the Autobahn.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Tony Hawk rented a Ferrari, and him and Matt Hoffman were driving it on the Autobahn, and he was like, "You want to drive it?" And I was like, "Of course I want to drive it, dude." And then they were like, "Can't let Ellis drive it. Insurance is not in his name." And then Tony took me for a drive, and he pulled off the freeway, and he's like, "Get in the driver's seat." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Let's just pull off before we get to the airport, and we'll switch out again so no one knows." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yes.
And then I had it matted for like 5 minutes. Seemed like an hour, but just flat out 6 gear.
What was that feeling?
It was awesome.
What color Ferrari?
Red one.
Yeah.
The coolest thing about the Autobahn is when you go real fast on the freeway and you're in the fast lane, people that see you up ahead, they move over miles ahead because they know you're coming in hot. People on the Autobahn drive with helmets on, dude.
Are you serious?
I passed a couple of people that had helmets on and leather gloves.
Oh my!
Wow.
They're driving home from work doing like
From
fucking
work?
180 mile an hour and shit. Yeah, man. Fucking, they got it figured out.
Wait, which country was this?
Germany.
Makes sense.
Germany. Oh.
Yeah. It's the best.
Helmet and the gloves. That's
Yeah.
right.
Not one, several people.
Yeah.
Because they kept pointing it out. It's like, you guys got fucking helmet and gloves on. This guy's not playing. He's going to work like a fucking madman. It's so cool.
Just going to work. Yeah.
I assume,
Yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing.
I used to drive a BMW, and when it would go over 90, it would like sink down.
All right.
The wind would get it. It felt so sick. Yeah. That's as fast as I go. 90. Something like that.
It's my
quick.
dream. Let's go on the open road
Mm.
and do it.
I don't know,
man.
you got anything else, dude?
No, anything? What do you got coming up? Anything?
What was your weird question you wanted to ask me? Was it
That was
sex
the
with
one.
a blind person?
Yeah.
That's it?
That was it. It wasn't even that bad.
weird,
Yeah.
yeah. I was hoping it was gonna get.
Was
weird.
there
I'm trying to
no?
think if I...
Yeah.
What's that?
I think there was another one.
What other one?
I might need to be offline.
What?
You
Seems to be
how about this?
off
Have
the-
you ever been with anybody with a disability? No legs or something like that?
Yeah.
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 No legs.
Wait, are you asking me if I would have sex with disabled people? Are you questioning
No,
my
I'm just
fucking-
wondering.
Like, you think
No.
I think I'm better than
No,
that?
no. It's genuine curiosity.
I was more just curious if you've been with a blind person.
Because I know you've had like an extensive.
I'm pansexual to the highest level. I don't know anybody that wants to have sex with as many people as I do. I like trans men, trans women,
Yeah.
black guys, white guys, black girls, Asian girls, guys, fat guys,
Blind
skinny
people.
girls, fat
Yeah.
girl. I don't care. Giant girls,
Everything.
little people.
Little people.
One, if you had no legs, I'm in.
Yeah.
Would actually, I'd be in pretty easy, but that's a bad joke.
Less of a barrier. Yeah.
Yeah, no head.
Just a head. Yeah. Whatever.
Just a head, I would do it. Yeah.
Just.
I can't wait to get some sweet DMs from this interview. I hope it works. Katie, you're into that, right? Like you and a couple of your friends are into stumpy people. I know that.
Yeah.
Katie, have you ever been with a blind person?
I've never been with a blind person. They're
What about deaf?
deaf? No. Love, I had to think about that for a second. No, I don't think so.
No,
You guys are
notable.
discriminating.
Yeah,
on me.
discriminatory.
I've had sex with a deaf person.
You
I've-
deaf? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never been hit on by a blind or a deaf person.
Yeah.
I don't, like you said, I haven't really seen many of them out and about.
Out in the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've hooked up with a girl that was like kind of blind, but she could kind of.
Kind of blind.
She might have been legally blind then.
Yeah, she's legally. I'll take
Yeah, I don't
that.
think she could drive a car.
Yeah. Oh, that's blind.
Yeah.
That's blind.
Yeah, but she said she could see me, and she walked into the room without my help, and she didn't have a stick, so I think she
Yeah,
could see.
pretty
Sorry, guys, just trying to bro down.
Bro.
Well, I've never been with a blind person either, so.
Me
Well,
neither.
there you go. Get off me,
Except
Yeah.
myself.
discriminator.
Except
So-
myself.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Open your mind, Dan. Shit.
Need
Yeah,
to.
Dan,
I
you.
need to
Jeez.
expand my horizons a little bit.
What's coming up? Anything crazy coming up? Any stunts? Any?
I gotta do Tony Hawk. Announce some demo in LA soon.
That's for
Yeah.
the release of his documentary, right?
Right, documentary that he's got.
Ooh,
Oh, when's that?
trying to make that Monday, next Monday.
I think so, right?
I think. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
I think it is. Yeah.
It's
Or is it-
the 30th, I
Or
believe.
is it
Okay.
Friday? Thursday? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, just that and.
How's
trying
he
to
doing?
skate. Good. He fucking skated yesterday.
I saw the video.
Kelly was telling
He's
us
talking about doing a demo.
It doesn't make sense. I heard him saying that on his caption if he's gonna skate in May or whatever.
That's
How?
for his birthday. That's what he said.
it's so crazy.
Is he talking about skating on the vert ramp?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I broke my damn collarbone. I couldn't do shit for 4 months. and
I
so
don't
he's
know
like,
how it's
"What?"
working either. I just go with it. You know?
Yeah,
He
he's-
seems
He's in.
he seems so serious about it that he convinced me that he will. I'll be surprised that if he isn't in the
doesn't,
demo.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's that on, you know.
He's the Birdman.
His wife's a bit stressed about it. I don't blame her.
Yeah. What was
tell
like?
he's just itching. It's
Can't
like, man,
cage
it's
him,
been
man.
fucking 2 weeks, you know?
Can't cage the
That was
bird,
ballsy taking the phone out. That was a good gamble.
Yeah.
He wanted that. You knew he wanted that.
Yes. He thought you're talking
He
about
thought
the
you
video.
were on Instagram.
He
Thought
thought
you
I
were
went
live.
live. Yeah.
Oh. He goes, "Are you filming me on live?" Or something?
Yeah. We're good.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
man.
like, I'm glad you got it. I'm like,
What's
okay.
what's the gnarliest injury that you had, real quick?
The
knee?
Nah, I mean that didn't really hurt that bad.
No.
I don't know, it was, when you're younger, it's worse, you know. Like when that one where I smashed my arm out, the compound fracture, that was bad, man. I was like 16, fucking bone hanging out of my arm, scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Thought I was gonna die, dude.
Oh, you mean it's worse because you're more freaked out?
Yeah, I just feel like when you're older,
Yeah, you're like, all right, I gotta deal with
I'm
this.
not gonna die. You know, like I've had big cuts and
Yeah.
I've broken my arms before where I'll hang out. Like, you know what I mean? I'll drive myself to the fucking hospital.
Right.
Like,
Man. So
I've
you have a
knocked
high
myself
pain
out
tolerance.
and like ruptured my organs inside.
Oh, you've done that.
And I just drove to hospital and was like spitting up blood. I don't think it's that bad, but I'm just gonna tell you, I've been spitting up blood for the last 45 minutes, and they're like, "Okay, well, let's get you a scan." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I used to bring my I used to PlayStation 2, the little one.
The PSP?
Yeah, because when I was in the end of my prime of skateboarding, I was just like, every 3 months I'd probably go to hospital. So I just got used to it. So
You had that for like in the waiting rooms or just
yeah,
being
for
hurt?
the waiting rooms. And I just
You
play
had a
video
backup
games.
plan
I
for
take
getting
I had a painkiller with me. I just eat
Yeah.
a painkiller and play video games until
wait till I'm
they'd see
called.
me. And then you know, yeah, I try to like stay, because you can't tell them that you can't tell them what your injury is, because they get offended that you think you know what your injury is. So I'm like, yeah, I think I might, I'm not sure, but I think I might have torn my ACL. But maybe you'd have to check, you know. Even though I fucking know that I tore my ACL,
man.
like
Yeah.
I know I did. You know, meniscus is torn or whatever, and they're like, meniscus? How do you know what? And I'm like, maybe I don't, dude. You check it out. Don't get angry at me, because I've done it before. I'm like, I've dislocated my shoulder, and they're like, you don't know that. I was like, this is the fucking 11th time I've done it, dude. So yeah, it's dislocated. It's not separated because I've done that 17 times, and it's not broken because I've done that 12. So fucking dislocated. Fuck you. Like somebody pull it back in because I can't get it. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, okay, and then I'm right. I've never been wrong. I've never had an MRI go back where they're like, yeah,
It's just a tear.
you're fine. I'm like, no shit. That's why I'm here.
What do they do for when you rupture one of your organs? Do just
They make you
take that
drink
out?
this shit, and then they put you in the machine,
Oh, the iodine
and they check
shit?
to see how many holes you have inside your organs. And they usually, for me, it's just lacerations. I've had lacerated liver and kidney and lungs.
Like your elbow going into your side when you fall.
Yeah, I fucking slammed over a triple on a motocross jump once, and I broke both my elbows into my stomach and got lacerated intestines. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
And then the other side, whatever the fuck is on that side, I lacerated that. And then 6 months later, I fucking jumped that jump again, did the same crash,
Shut up.
broke both my elbows again, and got a lacerated liver or something.
On the same jump?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I didn't know you
I ended
did
up not
moto,
making
too.
that.
Last question I have for you is, like, I'm someone who's very inspired by you because you're like the comeback kid of all your stories. You've been at you're at like the top, and then you get knocked down like completely, and there's like no, you can't even see the light right away at first. Like, you kind of touched on it, but like, what's your thought? Like, what's your process to get through the like hardest times that you have? Like, how do you pull yourself out of that? Like, I suffer with like depression a lot and stuff, and like, you know, some days really suck. Like, how do you pull yourself out of your shitty days and like those things like that?
I don't want to say that what I do is this, and this, and I'm fine, because there's days, as you know, when you're depressed, you can
can't-
try everything and it's not going to shake
You
it.
can't even get out of bed, right?
You're
You have
fucked.
those days?
Not anymore.
No?
Not anymore. I can get out.
Mm-hmm.
But I do shut off a lot.
Shut off.
Yeah.
And
And it's
you
really
shut
bad.
down.
It's really bad for Katie more than anybody.
I do that to
She
my
just
wife
can't
as
get-
well.
you can't get a word out of me. And if it is a word, it's usually something aggressive or dark. So it's just like, I'd best if everyone could just get off me for a while. Like if I can go outside and like, sort it out. Like what is the problem? I got to get rational first though, If I can't get rational, then I can't solve the problem. So I stay rattled. So if I can get out, get my head clear and think about what is exactly bothering you right now, or like what could be bothering you. Can you do anything about it? Like this is if I'm in a rational mind. I can be like, okay, well you can, and so have you done it? And if you haven't done it, go do it. And if you've done it, then fucking chill, man. Like it's not in your power. Like you did everything you could to rectify the situation or get the job handled, whatever it is, whatever the case may be. The biggest one to me is my kids. I stress about my kids. I stress I can't see them. And then because you have that depressed mind, if something's wrong with the kids, I'm like, well, if you hadn't have got divorced, you start going down this road of blaming yourself for anything that your children go through. But
so you need a lot of self-forgiveness, right?
Yeah, and I'm not very good at that.
Me too. I'll dwell on it for hours, sometimes a day or two. About
That's the gift and the curse, though, dude, because you dwell on it. And that's how I get shit done, too.
Yeah, same.
Like, well, if I make a mistake, will I dwell on it and bash myself into the ground over it? Yes. But also, if you, like, we're going to go do something, we're going to go race, we're going to go challenge, we're going to, whatever it is, if it's on, I'm going to put mad focus in it. Like, focus that you've never seen before. Like, stand-up, I change temperature. Before I do stand-up, I get freezing cold. And the rest of my comedy friends make fun of me for doing it. But I'm cold because I put the pressure on. I'm fucking shitting myself because I want this to go so well. I want to learn so much and I want to be so good that I need to think about it and worry about it, dwell on it. It's the same technique. It's just how to decipher when to turn the dwelling on and when to turn it off. Because sometimes it's like, when I call my daughter, she's missing. I see the reports, emails. She's late for class fucking almost every day. And I'm like, hey, what's going on with the, can you not be late? Oh, maybe. And I want to be like, listen, fucking snap out of it. But I can't do that. She's a lady, I'm going to be like, well, it'd be good if you could. I'm just, and I feel like when I hang up that it didn't work and she's definitely going to be late tomorrow. And I'm like, fuck, you're fucking up and that's why your kid's fucking up. And I'm like, Don't go down that road. You're a good dad. You fucking love her. You're doing everything in your power. Like people get divorced, dude. In the long haul, like, would you really want to live with that chick anymore? You don't want to know that. She doesn't want to know that. Like, you've made the right decision. It's a little bit rockier for your kids than it would have been if you had us stuck together and been happily married for the rest of your life. But it is what it is. You still made the right decision, and sometimes life's a bitch,
Well, it seems like you learned from your mistakes really well, sometimes. Too. Because look at you now. You got a great place, a great family. You got Katie's amazing wife, and you got a great show, multiple shows. You're doing
I got
comedy.
good friends, too, man. You guys. Like,
Dude,
you guys probably wouldn't be my friends 2 years ago. I just wouldn't be into it. I'd be too busy. I don't know.
Too like your ego.
I just know that you guys are kind-hearted guys, good souls. And you're my friends. Like, I know we're doing the show, but you're not coming over here to do my show unless you're my friends. I don't want to do any more work, dude. I do enough.
I know.
But for you guys, because you guys are good dudes. I know you are. I believe this to be true. And I feel like this is a lot of my friendships these days, newer friendships, are a lot similar to you guys, as in positive, good people to be around. And because that's how I've changed my life, my friendships have changed too. If you're all about that negative shit, you just drop off around me. I just don't have time for it.
It's
toxic.
toxic.
It's just like, fucking, it's always bad, and that's always bad, and this is always bad, and the problem with this, and I'm like, dude,
fix it.
It's not, it's not everybody else's fault. Like, you gotta, like, it's not that so bad to be us,
No, it's all contagious, negative and positive. So it's important. Like, I talk about that. The biggest, you're gonna act like the 5 people you spend the most time around too.
There you go.
If they're saying negative shit all the time, you're gonna get in that mind state and think it's normal.
Right. And I just want to be inspirational. And you want to help people. Before I die, I want to help people. And look at you two, man. I mean, you guys' lives. I don't want to sound offensive, but you guys got fucking hit hard with some shit that not many people get hit with, and you're up here shining, like fucking renting a Ferrari over here. This fucking guy, like, and you're skating better than most people that have sight, Dan. So there's,
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
there's, you guys are as inspirational as Tony Hawk standing on a titanium broken rod and go, look at me. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
He's skating in a month. Yeah.
I never felt more like his wife than right then that day. Like, she looked at me like, you guys are fucking idiots. And I was like, you might be right. My friend's a psychopath. He's like, oh, looking at me like he's fucking 2-year-old son or something. Like, look at me, Jason. I'm like, oh God, dude, please don't fall. Like, I feel like his parent. Like, I'm like, when he first got on it, I was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I was gonna catch him if he fell, and I'm like, this is embarrassing, Tony. Stop.
Did he have to like lift his leg up onto the board?
Yeah,
Like
he puts
straight leg?
puts his dead leg on the top of it, and then he fucking pushes with the good leg, and off he goes.
Oh,
At one point, he's like, my leg's twisted. It feels twisted.
Oh my God.
Tony Hawk.
I'm like, because it is, dude.
Oh man, yeah, no,
It's really twisted.
That's insane, dude. That's like me and Dan Kelly calls us wives all the time, joking.
Right.
It's just,
I wouldn't move for fucking 3 months.
Right.
I did that.
I would have been
Be a dad
screaming.
for
Thinking
at
about
least
it
a
too,
month.
dude.
The fact that he didn't even like be like, ah.
Oh, he
Like,
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he wasn't even like
Not the
yelling.
hit. I want to.
Yeah, whatever.
They were
No.
trying to. They just had to straighten it, and when they straightened
Oh,
it,
okay. He said that. Yeah. That's
he had
not-
every. It was a manly cry.
Yeah, that's a manly.
Oh, something's wrong, and I was like, yeah,
I'd probably
it
pass
fucking
out.
is, dude. It's something is wrong.
Something's wrong.
Like, total fair sentence to say, because they're pulling on it and twisting it and trying to get it to
Damn it.
get back in line. I'm like, oh, like I couldn't even watch it.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, you're very inspirational to us as well, and
Yes, you are.
thanks so much for being here.
We're great, aren't we?
Thanks for coming to our studio.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go now. Sorry,
I hope
guys.
you like
Enjoy.
it. You can get on the road.
Yeah.
Drive you
gotta
the
feed the
fuck
dogs.
out of
Please.
I gotta feed
I
my
gotta
dogs.
feed my dogs.
Yeah.
My Pomeranian's getting a little upset out there. Can you plug all your stuff, please?
At Wolfmate on Instagram, at Ellismate on Twitter. The JasonEllis.com is the website with all the podcasts and all that stuff. Wolf Knives Clothing.
It's
all
nice
that
clothes.
Patreon.
shit. What?
Patreon.com/EllisMate.
Patreon.com/EllisMate. Yep, that's our live Jason Ellis shows on Patreon, and then I do 2 solo shows a week on there as well.
They're amazing.
Awesome World.
They're super
I love Awesome
entertaining,
World.
Super fun.
guys are awesome.
All your shows.
I really do.
Dope.
Awesome
Yeah.
World's amazing. What else? You got the Hawk Wolf, right?
Yeah, Hawk versus Wolf. Sell some merch on that too. Wolf Knives sell Hawk versus Wolf t-shirts and coffee mugs, also known as cup cams. 'Cause I don't think I've ever had a coffee out of it. I've only filmed skateboard tricks out of it.
You gotta teach me this method. I don't know what that meant.
The cup cam?
Yeah, you do. For sure.
Yeah, all right, I'll teach you.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
then, thank you. You took
Anything
time out of
else?
your
What
day.
about
Thank
anything
you.
of Katie's?
My Instagram is at underwearwolf, and then all my links are in my bio there.
Okay. At
Yes.
Underwear Wolf. She have a mic back there? Can you hear it? Yeah.
What's
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Yep,
I've got
she's
a
got a
mic.
mic.
She's got a mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's official. You know our studio, Dan. Come on.
That's
All right.
new.
Thanks,
Katie's new
everyone.
back there. Yeah.
4 Bad Eyes. Across the board. Send in your questions. Let us know who else you want on here.
If you're blind, DM me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
let's
blind
get out to the
DM
full
Jason.
blind person. We want fully blind, no partial. Yeah.
And
Just know
Katie.
that I'm probably
DM
going to
Katie
be back
also.
doing an
She has-
interview about it. Just know that.
Thank you, Anthony.
DM Underwear
DM
Wolf, too.
And Underworld.
Yeah. Oh, man.
amazing.
Dan.
Thank you.
No worries.
Dan, send us off.
Yeah. 4 Bad Eyes and personal is Dan the Mancina across the board.
All right. One love.
Much love. Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. And one love from 4 Bad Eyes.